Last night, I watched the Mario movie for the very first time, and here is my official review. So, to start off, pretty much, I thought that this movie was really good, really solid. I heard that a lot of the reviews, that other people have been having, were pretty, critical of it and, pretty, negative. I don't really get why they're negative. I mean, it was a pretty solid, pretty good movie. I don't get why everybody's all mad about it and stuff. I mean, there were a couple of cons that I will be getting to in a minute later on in the video, but overall, none of the cons were that big of a deal, and the movie really didn't suffer too much from anything too badly. But yeah, actually, I thought it was really good, and we're about to get into some spoilers now, so if y'all don't want to get the movie spoiled, click off the video and come back whenever you've actually seen the movie for yourself. But yeah, now let's actually get into some spoilers, some stuff that happened, and all that sort of stuff. Now, first off, one thing I really want to talk about in this review: Donkey Kong did the Seth Rogen laugh. My life is complete. Okay, but in all seriousness, I'm gonna be honest, this movie was amazing. There was Easter eggs galore. Not only was it every single music or every single song that played was a remix of an old Mario theme, so you could always kind of tell or catch the theme of your old favorite Mario game or something in there. But also there was tons of physical and visual Easter eggs as well. There's literally so much references just sprinkled across this whole movie, especially the first 10 or 15 minutes, it's just Easter eggs galore. And speaking of the first 15 to 20 minutes, we actually got a Charles Martinet cameo. That was absolutely crazy. I knew from the moment I heard that voice talking to Mario and Luigi, I was like, oh shit, they fucking added Charles Martinet into this movie. I really wanted him to have a cameo, so I'm so glad that they did him right. They did him like that. They at least honored his legacy and his impact in the Mario franchise. I understand why he couldn't be the voice of Mario or any of the other characters really in this movie, because I guess hearing that specific Italian accent for an hour and 30 minutes might get pretty old pretty quickly. And actually, I really enjoyed Chris Pratt's voice as Mario. In the trailers, I know everybody was all skeptical of it. They're it doesn't sound right or anything. Me personally, I was never even bothered from it in the first place, really. I didn't really mind it too much. I understood why they had to change it and all that. But now, hearing it in this movie, it is way better than I could have even predicted. That voice was just so good. It is so much better than it looks in the theaters. It is genuinely really good. And same goes for all the other voices. I know some people may be mad because it seems the Donkey Kong voice is just the normal Seth Rogen voice. But to be honest, I don't really mind that, since Donkey Kong doesn't really even have a voice in the first place. I don't mind him just having the normal Seth Rogen voice, especially since he did the Seth Rogen laugh. I know a lot of people might hate that, even though that personally just cracked me up so much. I was just like, oh my god, he did the Seth Rogen laugh. I just can't get over that. That was hilarious. This whole movie, I just had a big dumb smile on the whole time. It was just noticing all the references and stuff was super cool. And there was also a lot of unexpected stuff that I was not expecting to see at all. The first example of this is Mario's family. We legit get to see Mario and Luigi's whole family, and I was not expecting that at all. I was just like, what the heck? That's brand new. All of those characters, all brand new. Another thing which I didn't see coming, which looking back, I probably should have saw it coming just based off of the games and stuff. Bowser's whole motive for trying to destroy the kingdom and all that is so he can date Princess Peach. That was unexpected. Really, I was not expecting that. As far as I know, that wasn't hinted at in the trailers at all. I know a lot of people might think that that's a bit cheesy or something, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. I found that kind of funny, especially because that's also how the games are. Also in the games, Bowser wants to marry Princess Peach. So that's why I didn't find it too cheesy or anything, because that's literally just what happens in the games. Although, one thing I did find funny was whenever Bowser was like singing his song about Princess Peach on the piano, and the best part was at the end whenever he was just like saying the word peaches over and over again and started to sound like he was like saying just bitches. He was just like singing about just bitches, just saying bitches over and over again. It did not, at near the end of that song, it did not sound like the word peach. Sounded like he was saying something else. But speaking of like the sort of relationships and stuff that we see throughout this movie, I really liked the relationship between Mario and Luigi. They did a really, really good job at like making them seem like real actual brothers and not making Luigi be like in the shadow of Mario. Like, yeah, Mario was the more heroic one and Luigi had to have more of a story arc where he had to be like less scared. But at the same time, like, they did a good job at making it seem like Mario and Luigi really did care for each other, and they really were, like, good and brothers for each other and all that stuff, and they really had each other's back, and that was just so wholesome and nice to see, like, the two of them, like, interacting with each other, especially at the very beginning of the movie, and in the final climax, whenever they're back in, like, Brooklyn and all that. I did like the spin on the whole them having to save Princess Peach formula, and now it was Mario and Princess Peach having to save Luigi. I did like that. I know some of them, like some of the people watching like this movie, may have preferred if like Mario and Luigi were still together even when they were in the Mushroom Kingdom, and maybe they're having to save Peach or something. But no, I felt like it did make more sense story-wise to have Luigi be the one that needed rescuing, considering his character and how he's more of like a bit of a scaredy cat, you know, sort of. And that would especially give Mario more of a reason to be heroic, other than if they were just trying to save some stranger princess that they didn't know about. And actually, this is gonna sound really weird coming from me, considering how, like, I really hate a lot of romances that are shown in a lot of movies. Like, I don't like a lot of, like, the romance stuff because it's all so cheesy and played out and shit. But I'm gonna be honest, with this movie, I actually did want to see more interactions and more of a relationship between Mario and Peach. I didn't feel like they really had enough of that in this movie. I felt like they could have done more, like, relationship-wise and couple-wise with Mario and Peach. And I know usually that's really weird for me to say, because usually I fucking hate like the like cheesy relationships and romantic tension between characters in movies and stuff. I usually hate that shit. But like, I actually genuinely wanted to see more of it between Mario and Princess Peach. I don't think there was actually enough of that. I would really want to see more of that. I also really think that the movie like did a really good job at making Mario and Donkey Kong like sort of frenemies, where they'd help each other out, have like some cool bonding moments, but then they'd also like really express how they aren't friends and they don't really like each other and shit. Like, I thought that was a good way to like handle those two characters. Actually, just like this whole movie as a whole, like all the like relationships in this movie and all of like the character interactions, I think were really good, and I think they all had like a really good job and were really thought out, and I think they all were really well done in this movie. But so far we have been talking about all the good things, and unfortunately, I hate to say it, but there are a little bit of cons that we should probably also get into. Starting off with like my main complaint. It's not even like really a complaint, like none of these are really that big of a deal, it's just like little tiny nitpicks. So it's like still nothing like movie ruining or anything. But like the first thing I gotta say is like, why did Mario never use a fire power-up? Princess Peach got a fire power-up, and Donkey Kong also used a fire power-up, but Mario never picked up a fire power-up, his most iconic power-up. He never got it. That's not much of a complaint, that's just like me kind of pointing out something that that was kind of missing from this movie. But it's still not that big of a deal, again, nothing movie ruining. But I also felt like the story was pretty basic. Like the story was very, very simple, really followed the hero's journey to like a T, which sometimes isn't really a good thing, sometimes just makes the story a bit more boring. which I get why they did it, because they probably didn't want to make too confusing of a story, since they already had so many characters and so many worlds to introduce to the viewer. Like, they probably already had all their hands full, and they didn't want to make the movie like too confusing, especially since it's like a kids movie. But yeah, the story I felt like could have been at least a little bit less predictable and a little less complex, or a little more complex, I mean. But like, besides that, I really only have one other nitpick, and that nitpick like isn't necessarily about the movie itself, but it's just about the marketing. Because whenever like the Mario movie, whenever it was like starting to like really like get close to releasing, like a bunch of new clips and stuff started to get leaked, and not leaked, but like released for like advertisement and stuff. And like, it really felt like the whole movie like was summarized in just one or two trailers. Like, it really was one of those movies where the trailer gave away like pretty much the whole plot. Not all of it, there was still a lot of cool moments and stuff that like the viewers like wouldn't be expecting. But I will admit, I wish the trailers would have revealed less, because near the lead up to this movie, like, I started to like quit watching anything Mario movie related. I quit watching all the trailers, I quit watching any sort of leaks or teasers or anything, because it was starting to be like too much. It was starting to reveal too much, and I feel like eventually, like, if you watch everything teaser related, all the like clips that got released to the internet and stuff, you're pretty much gonna get the whole movie spoiled for you. And I hate that it's one of those movies where it's like the whole movie gets spoiled for you if you've like seen all the trailers and stuff. But still, that's not necessarily the movie's fault, that's just more of the marketing's fault, necessarily. But yeah, like I said, those nitpicks weren't anything that was that big of a deal, nothing too bad, everything was still super cool. Also, apparently, there was an end-credit scene, which I missed. I saw the first end-credit scene where Bowser was like playing the piano, like little tiny Bowser, but I did not see the like other end-credit scene. Apparently there was another end-credit scene, I don't know what it is, but I'm going to go see the movie again sometime, and then I'll finally check out whatever that last end credit scene was. But yeah, I don't know what the end credit scene is. I don't know what it is. I haven't gotten it spoiled. But yeah, I will be rewatching the movie so that way I can stay until the end to see the final end credit scene. And I recommend you do too as well. But yeah, so I'd say overall the Mario movie was really good. Possibly one of my favorite animated movies. I'd say this one. I'm gonna be honest right now, I don't know whether or not it can beat Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. It's a tie. I think right now it's a tie between the Mario movie and the Puss in Boots: The Last Wish on which animated movie is my favorite. Like, what is my favorite animated movie like ever? I can't decide which one's better, Puss in Boots or the Mario movie. I'm gonna be honest. And over time, that may change. Maybe I end up liking the Mario movie better or worse or something like that. But right now, I genuinely can't decide which one's better. I guess I'm just not really much of like an animated movie kind of guy. I'm more of like a horror and gore and rated R type stuff. But I can also enjoy an animated movie here and there as long as it doesn't have any fart jokes, which thank God the Mario movie did not have fart jokes. Like, literally, thank God it did not, because the Sonic movie 2 did, and I have some strong feelings about the Sonic movie 2. That deserves a whole other video on its own, because I could go on rants for days about how much that movie sucked. This Super Mario Bros. Movie, really good. They did a really good job at making it appeal to all ages. Like, even though it was kid-friendly, it was kind of like Puss in Boots, where like, even though it was kid-friendly, it still wasn't like too annoying or like for adults or anything like that. So I do gotta give it huge props for that. And yeah, so overall, really good, really solid. If you grew up with the Mario franchise, or if you're just like a fan, or if you're just like a casual fan of the Mario franchise or anything like that, I really do recommend this movie for you. Although, if you are watching until the end of this video, you've probably already seen the movie, so yeah. Thank y'all for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see y'all in the next video. Goodbye.